Welcome back to the channel, how are we all doing? Yes, we're doing yet another vlog and yet another disco tonight. Slightly different speaker setup as always. If you've been following the channel for a little while now, you'll know that I keep switching my speakers, trying different combinational speakers. Let me show you what I'm using today. I guess you've been waiting for this. I'm going to entitle this vlog, I'm going to name this vlog Big Setup. Big sound. Okay, it's a sequel to the previous vlog that I'd done, which was small setup, big sound. So this is part 2 to that, where it's big setup, big sound. So this is going to be called, this vlog is going to be called Big Setup, Big Sound. The reason why I've entitled it that is because I'm using the RCF's 905's AS Mark IIs along with the Yamaha DZR-15. So as you can see, I'm using bigger speakers now. The Yamaha DZR-15s, they are big speakers. A little bit awkward to put on the stand, because they do weigh quite a bit. And also the handle itself is mounted horizontally instead of vertically. That makes it a little bit awkward to lift and get back on the pole, because your hands have got to twist your hands in a certain way, which is not natural in order to get it on the pole, but I've adapted and I found an easy way of doing it. But nevertheless, I shouldn't have to do that. It should be pretty much horizontal, straightforward to lift. I understand if the handles are horizontal, when carrying it to and from, it does make it slightly a little bit awkward to carry. That's why they've put the handles, or should I say, that's why the handles are fixed horizontally. So that's a speaker setup. It's the RCF's 905 AS Mark IIs, DZR-15s. Ultimate stands, hydraulic stands for lifting these up, because there's no way I would be able to lift these speakers up, lift the stand up and put the pin in if it weren't for air assisted stands, basically. Everything else remains pretty much the same. Denon MC6000 Mark II, Apple MacBook Pro, Chevette ILS Command on the lighting, Gig Bar Move stuck in the corner there, along with the Equinox Spectrapix batten. They are brilliant light, really bright, super bright, basically, the Equinox Spectrapix batten. Highly recommend them. Also, for portability and setting up, they do the lithium, where it's totally rechargeable, so that's even a nicer touch as well. So there's no wires in between, just literally plonk it down, plonk it on the stand and switch it on. You've got a little remote for it and away you go. Equinox combi booth, and walk you around the front because I know I forgot something. As always, we are using the Q Audio wireless microphone, which is True Diversity microphone as well. And also I do have the One Audio wireless headphones there in the vehicle, so I will be using them tonight. Report back on them, let you know what I think of them. I've done quite a few functions using them, and you know what, I'm absolutely loving them. They're actually brilliant pair of wireless headphones. They just work and they do an excellent job. When you need to find that precise point in a track to cut out the outside noise, they're spot on for that as well, basically. That is pretty much a setup. That is what we're using this week. As I say, the only new difference is, I know you guys who have been following me, and girls who have been following me for quite a while, would have noticed that, oh God, how many speakers has he got? He's forever changing his speakers. I've got another setup to do, which is going to be big sound, big setup. That is going to be with the Yamaha 3-ways, the DZR 315s, along with the DSX 18 XLF as well. That's going to be a big setup. I've got a function coming up for that, so you might want to ring the bell. You might want to click for notifications on that as well, basically, when that comes out. Once again, I've got to thank all the subscribers who have subscribed to the channel. It has been very much appreciated. Thank you very much. It gives me that motivation to carry on, keep making these vlogs as well. So as I always say, please remember to give me a thumbs up, send me a comment, ring that bell, and also most importantly, subscribe to the channel. There are going to be a couple of timestamps in this vlog as well, to let you know what's going on when it's going on, so you can click that particular part and jump straight to it as well. Got to mention as well, very briefly as well, I was literally on the verge of getting rid of the RCF's 905's AS Mark II, because I just weren't getting what I wanted from them out on the dance floor. That low hertz basically, and that pressure on the dance floor. I was using the setting, if you guys or girls have a set of RCFs, the AS Mark IIs or the Mark III series, or even the even the 705s basically. I believe that there's a preset on the back of them. You've got the it's L1 to L4, don't quote me on that, but you've got a low setting, a high setting basically on the frequency range. So I've always used them on H3, which is about 40 hertz up to 8 hertz cut off basically. And I just weren't getting that pressure out of them. That's how I've always used them. Don't ask me why, but that's how I've always used them. I weren't quite happy with them, and I was pretty much on the verge of getting rid of them, getting shot on them basically. And as I say, today I've kind of like messed about with the setting on them, so I've gone down to L2, which is again 40 hertz, I think. It's either 40, it's either 30 or 40, it's either 30 or 40 hertz up to 60 hertz. And boy, that's a total game changer, an absolute game changer. I am getting that pressure out on the dance floor. Obviously, I probably won't play it at that particular level. I just needed to find out their capabilities and what they can do. So that's why I kind of like a switch. That's another reason as to why I keep switching around my setups. It's to mess about with them, to get to know that particular speaker setup, what it can do, its capabilities, and how to get the best out of it. And that's how I discovered today how to get the most out of the RCF's 905s Air Smart 2s. So I won't be getting rid of them anymore basically, because I've discovered a whole brand new speaker, and I've fallen back in love with them. They're absolutely banging, putting out some serious pressure out there on the dance floor. So if you do have a set of the RCF's AS series, try using the preset, either the L1 or L2. I've stuck it on L2 preset basically. Try using the L2 preset on it on the crossover point and see how you get on with that. And stick me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on that as well. See you soon. You got to understand, you don't need like you can feel all the way you're under, and the question is it ever wonder how sometimes it crosses your mind. So you forget it's all right. I like it. No, I can't deny it, but I know you can tell I'm sorry. Oh, only one, only one.
Boy, I can see your body moving. I'm not now. Don't really know what I'm doing. Just seem to have a plan. My world's so frustrating. How come to fail my see you in the camera dancing too hard to play.
Okay, so this is a follow-up from the gig which I've done basically. So just to let you know, call it a post vlog, just to let you know how I got on. So I was using the DZR-15s along with an RCF 905. So that's quite a fairly big setup basically, as in sound wise. as in sound wise. Using the DZRs, they're 139 dBs, which is excessively loud. I could have got away with them very easily on this particular venue with no subs whatsoever. A lot of you may say, well, what do I hope to achieve with mixing and matching my setups basically? This is what I hope to achieve. I need to kind of like develop an understanding of mixing and matching different certain speakers, so I know their capabilities. Say, prime example was this venue basically, where I was using the 905s along with the DZR15s. Like I said, I could have got away with using the DZR15s on their own very easily with loads of headroom in this particular venue. And this particular venue would hold in the region of about 150 to 220 people. That's including the rear of the room as well, so that's not including the dance. It's not including the dance. So if you include the dance hall and the rear of this venue, it would hold about in the region of 250 people. Now I know I can get away in this particular venue with just the DZR on their own, and that would be more than adequate enough, not a problem whatsoever. But with the lower end, if I needed to kind of like bring some sub enforcements on the lower end, basically I would bring in like something like what I did do, the RCF 905's Air Smart 2, and that in conjunction with the DZRs, it is a game changer. As I previously mentioned, messing about with the settings on them as well, to get more pressure out there on the dance floor. I altered a few. It's got a low setting and a high setting basically. So what I done, I kind of like changed from I normally have the lowest frequency, which I think is about 30 or 40 hertz, to about 60. So I changed that. I went up to about 50 hertz to a maximum of about 80 hertz, I believe. I would actually run through the settings on my next gig and let you know my exact precise settings I was using on that particular function. Off the top of my head, that's roughly where the crossover points were set on the RCF 905s, and that was an absolute game changer. The pressure out on the dance floor was immense, so much that I had to hold it back, which means I had bags of headroom, basically loads of headroom on the subs, loads of headrooms on the top, loads of headroom on the top as well, which is what you want. So I know that going into a slightly bigger function with a larger capacity of people, that this combination wouldn't be a problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. I can probably get away with about 300. I'd say about 300 with this particular setup. It's not the biggest setup I do have. I do have the Yamaha DSX or the DSX, I can't remember which way around it is. I do have that, the 18 XLF. I think it's the DXS 18 XLF. I've got a pair of those along with the Yamaha DZR 315s as well. That is the biggest setup what I have. Reason why you've not really seen that, or you've not seen that setup at all, is because that would be a two-man setup for extremely large functions basically, and as I work alone, there's no way I can lift those subs and those three ways in and out of my van and carry them into the venue on my own, not without an additional helping hand with that. That's the reason why you're not particularly seeing that. There will come a function where you will see that, where it's going to be a fairly big function, and I do have to rope in other people to give me a hand with that setup. Now, and that's the biggest setup I own basically. Also as well, going back to the 905's Air Smart 2s and using them with the DZR15s, like I said, extremely loud setup for the larger capacity. Loads of headroom on that as well, loads of headroom. I had to dial it back and hold it back a bit because of the headroom. You know, it was overkill for that size venue, to be totally honest with you. As I said, the only reason and what I hope to get out of it was an understanding of that particular setup and where I possibly could use that setup basically. So because I know that I had loads in reserve, which means I can go on to use that on a slightly bigger venue with a slightly larger crowd capacity as well. That's my main objective with mixing and matching my speaker setups, to develop an understanding of where I can use them for the larger capacity venues or smaller capacity venue, and just roping in different brands along with, say for example, the FBT 206As along with the FBT 112 SAs. That's a small setup, a small footprint. I have used that in a slightly bigger venue and I did get away with it, luckily enough. But if I wanted a little bit more end, then say for example I would bring in the 905's Air Smart 2s along with the 206s, or I can have a different option, I can use the JMax 114As along with the FBT 112SA. So you see, I've got plenty of scope to mess around with my boxes. Basically, that's why I prefer using active boxes, because I can mix and match depending on the size venue and the capacity that venue holds. Basically, that is my main priority of kind of like messing around with my boxes and mixing and matching with them, so I get a very good understanding as to where I can use them. There weren't a lot of people there to begin with, and throughout the night the numbers didn't really pick up. So I think the max at its peak was probably in the region of about 60 people, which is nowhere near the capacity of that particular venue. So it wasn't a lot of guests there, but as you all know, you work with what you got, with what's in front of you, basically, to be getting on with. It's no different as, say, for example, playing to a crowd capacity of 1,000 people. If there's a crowd capacity of 60 people, I will treat all functions exactly the same. Basically, it does. The crowd capacity is irrelevant. You just do your best and keep people on the dance floor. As DJs, that's what we do. Basically, the crowd capacity is irrelevant. You just play and work to what's in front of you. So that is pretty much the post vlog for this one. Look out for my next vlog. And I've got to say thank you very much for all of you who have subscribed to the channel. It has been very much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, as I always say, you know what to do. Ring that bell, give me a thumbs up, send me a comment, all that marvelous YouTube stuff, as I would like to say. And if you are stuck in a particular technical issue and you do want to reach out to me, do not feel free. As you guys have discovered, those of you who have messaged me before in the past, I would always get back to you, and I would always give you my 2p worth into your problem or issue. Until the next time, keep it locked, and I will see you all soon.